Nisi, to put it bluntly, I don't believe you. How do you mean it doesn't matter? Of course it matters. Of course it matters, I think. Resources and the ability to acquire resources would always matter when it comes to a relationship. I remember I said this in a previous live, in a previous video. The reason many women prefer a man who makes more money than them, brings in more resources, it's not just because she's a gold digger and she's selfish or something like that. It's about securing your family. If you're a woman, like, think about it. If you are a woman and you are out here, you know that for 9 months you're going to be less than in prime healthy stage, well, prime athletic stage. You very likely aren't going to be able to make the same amount of money, make the same resources, especially if you think backwards in history. For 9 months, for basically a year, because you have to heal after it too, for a year you aren't going to be your top prime self in making resources. Let's imagine it's farming, so you are going to need somebody to be able to bring in that food for you. So obviously you're going to look for someone who is able to produce more resources. Like, if I'm thinking about it, if you're a woman and you're thinking about how much let's bring it to food. Food makes it a lot simpler, I find. I'm thinking we're back in the days where it's all food. We are all hunter-gatherers here. We are all hunter-gatherers. We don't yet have money to replace the food and resources with money. It's all food here. Say, as a lady, I am able to bring in 2 tons of food per year. I am able to bring in 2 tons of food per year. I am a young lady, presently 18, 19 years old, and I'm looking at my future and I want to pay up and have a family, because, you know, back then it was this, if you didn't have a family and make children, then our tribe was going to die. So yes, I'm looking to pay up and do what's expected of me from society. So I, as a young lady, I'm looking for a suitable suitor now. I can bring in 2 tons of food per year. But I know I plan on making a few babies. And for those years when I'm making those few babies, I cannot bring in 2 tons of food per year. So if I'm looking for someone to be my partner, would I want someone who also brings in 2 tons of food per year? Or would I be looking for a man who brings in probably 5 tons of food per year? So he could bring in 2 tons to supply for me, an extra ton for my baby, and 2 tons for himself too. And that way, even when I make my baby, I don't even have to go back and hunt or gather. I have a man that brings in 5 tons of food per year. If you're a young lady bringing in your 2 tons at 19 years old, isn't that a sensible choice? That is a sensible choice, is it not? I was told I need to make 12 children if I want to make a wow, well, I'm not getting into that, Rooney. I did not tell you that. Whoever told you that would have to justify that on their own. I am drawing a very specific example. We're back in the hunter-gatherer days. We're talking about resources. We strip away money because money sometimes can make us not understand the true nature of resources. In a hunter-gatherer society, you still have to be productive to process the food as a woman. Blue Zabuka, you are right. I am not denying that, but I am asking a question that you are not answering. Of course, you still have to be productive. I'm not denying that. Yes, you still have to be productive. But as you are being productive, you are looking for a partner to join you in your production. If you are looking for a partner to join you in your production, would you be looking for a partner that only brings in the same 2 tons of food as you? Or would you look for a partner who brings in more than the 2 tons? Where are the answers? When you put it that way, it makes sense. Exactly. It's sensible. I keep saying this, Nisi. Now, the problem, and that is the problem to me with gold digging. That is the problem with gold digging. It's like gold digging in the biological side, in the social side, is to a certain extent sensible. What most women do if they're sensibly looking for a partner. The problem with gold digging is it abuses that natural process. It abuses that natural process. And that's one of the main problems with it. But it is a sensible thing. But that right there is my point. And if we're looking back at it in that sense, pure resources. Yes, obviously, even though some women may not want to say it, if you are a woman at 19 years old in that hunter-gatherer society looking to choose a partner, that's my point about productivity. Gold diggers aren't usually productive. That is very true. Now, Blues Abuka, the point you're drawing there is on the flip side. For the other man who is looking for the partner, for the man who is looking for the partner, obviously he's going to be looking for a productive person. Although many men may not look for, per se, the woman who brings in the most. We're looking back in that same hunter-gatherer society. A man might not look for the woman who brings in the most tons of food. He may be looking for a woman to complement the kind of food he brings in too. So yes, I agree. Yes, I am not disparaging a lady looking to increase her productivity. That has nothing to do with my question. You're all right. She doesn't bring in just 2 tons of food. She brings in 2 tons of food and produces it, and then she's able to exchange half ton of food after she produces it for another ton of food. So in totality, she gets 3 tons of food through her great productivity skills. We add that in there. This woman is a beast of a producer, bringing in 3 tons total. She brings in 2 tons by herself through her productivity skills, brings it to 3 tons. Still, as such a especially as such a productive woman. If you're such a productive woman, you're going out there hunting for the rabbit or whatever you catch, then going out there and picking the berries, bringing them in. I hope everyone is following the analogy I'm using. And then you're processing it. Let's say you make a little berry jam or something, and you carry it by a neighbor and tell them, have some of my berry jam that you make with only a little bit of your berries, and you exchange that for a gazelle that they have. So you bring in extra. So you're really productive as a woman out there. If you are that kind of a woman and you're looking for a partner, are you looking for a man who brings anything less than 5 tons of food to the table? Of course not. It would be ludicrous if you were. And bear in mind, we're talking hunter-gatherer because those societies make the human condition much simpler. So, of course, this woman is looking forward at a potential family. As a woman looking at a potential family being productive, of course you're looking for the man producing the most. Blues Abukai, I am not saying that it is a bad choice. That's not what I'm saying. I understand the choice. I am saying that seeing as that is the case, in such a hunter-gatherer society, if you are there looking for a man producing more food tonnage than you, bringing in more, and you are there and you have, let's say you have 10 sisters, all the sisters in your tribe, all the women in your tribe are like sisters to you, as you being part of the sisterhood, would you want the brotherhood of your tribe to generally bring in more food than the sisterhood? If you are a woman in that hunter-gatherer society wanting a man who brings in more tons of food than you, looking at it as the woman in general, wouldn't you want the men in general to produce or bring in more food than you? And in that case, wouldn't what you are asking for be a wage gap? Bruce Abuka says, well, just as a matter of survival, I would want the strongest man. Yes, Blues Abuka, finally you say it, and it's the fact, and I know it's the fact. I'm not saying that as something derogatory. Of course, it is common sense. Of course, you want the strongest man. Of course, you want the man that could supply the most. And do you think that changes in modern society? Like, do you think humans have changed that much, that what men want and what women want changes so drastically? Like, okay, our society is safer, but it's still that kind of competitive push to secure your goals and dreams and meet your needs and supply your resources, etc., etc., etc. So, okay, yes, it has expanded. Humanity and our societies have expanded to a much wider environment, but aren't the general needs and wants very similar? And in that case, wouldn't you still want the strongest man in our modern society too? And if most women want that same thing, wouldn't most women in that same line be, in a sense, asking for a wage gap.